So if you've watched some of my videos, you probably know I have a donkey. His name is Jasper, and he's becoming quite rotund to the point where I think it's hazardous to his health. You don't want a fat donkey. And this guy, he's getting pretty fat. He gets free run of the pasture where I keep, where I run the chickens, and then I move cows through here too. And it's just not good for him because he's out here by himself. Although he won't accept company, he basically dislikes everybody else except for me, and I'm not hanging out with him all day. So all he does out here is eat, and that's not good for him. So we're gonna build him an enclosure, create somewhat of a dry lot, and trap him in there, and then only let him out in short bursts so he can get some exercise. So there's my chunky donkey. See, he may not like the camera. He's a little skittish around weird things, but no, he's good. What's up, buddy? What's up? But as you can see, quite round. He's got little fat bubbles here on the top of his legs. That's not good. And his neck is getting a little chunky there. So we have to restrict his diet. Huh? Isn't that right, buddy? What do you think, Jasper? Otherwise, he's a good-looking donkey. Very well behaved. He's a good boy. Just got to cut some pounds. So, what we're going to do, I already have the posts in, is I'm going to nail insulators to all these posts. Got a pretty big area here still, but it won't take him long to eat it down. He has a voracious appetite. So we're going to run, nail in the insulators, and then we're just going to run poly tape. And it'll get its electricity off that fence over there. It'll just tie in. So, should be glorious. Let's get to work. So I think I'm going to do 3 strands of poly tape spaced kind of equidistantly along this post. One near the bottom, maybe 16 inches up, and then one in the middle, and then one near the top, probably 3 inches down from the top of the post. I'll make a little story stick here, that way my insulators are at the exact same height on all 3 posts, and we'll get it started. I'm going to use these Zariba brand post insulators. You can see they'll hold poly tape. They come with nails, and you know, I have ones that have been on posts for years and years, so they don't break down in the sun, you know, too bad. And Jasper likes to challenge fences, so everything around here has to be kind of rugged. So a hammer, a bag of insulators, I think I paid like 25 bucks for it maybe, a stick, and your fence posts have to be in place, and then you're in business. So I made my marks on the post, about 8 inches from the top, 22 inches from the top, and then 36 inches from the top. Now I'll use the story stick to transfer those marks from the post to the story stick. I'll go around, mark all the posts, then we'll start hammering on our insulators. So pretty simple. The nail hole is a little close there to the top. I guess because they're for poly tape, they need this little flange so you can get it undone and get the tape in there. But it's still manageable. Just gotta be careful swinging the hammer that you don't break your insulators. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to all the rest. So for the ends where it ties into my cow pasture over there, I don't think these little line post ones I'm putting on will be sufficient. It may not even be sufficient in the corners, like right there. There's going to be a lot of tension on the corner posts, so we'll see. But I'm going to have to use a different method to tie into the ends. Otherwise, I think these little white things are just going to pop off. So I don't have all the parts I need to get this done right. I wanted to do 3 lengths of poly tape or poly ribbon like this to give him high visibility, because, you know, maybe he don't see so good. But I really only have enough hardware to affix 1 line of that. So we're going to do that right in the middle, and then we're going to do poly wire on the top and the bottom, and that will provide an electrified. The ribbon will not be electrified, and the wire will. He doesn't really challenge electric fences anyway, but this is enough that I can get this done up today so that I can move cows in here, and then I can perfect it over time. I'm also not installing any gates today, so I'll have to step between the rungs, but I can put gates in later. Like I said, it's temporary. So we got the poly tape perimeter set up. As I said, this is temporary right now. It's going to have to be redone, but I don't want to waste this tape. So I'm just tying it off over there and leaving it in a bag so I can span it, because this fence that Jasper's eating near right now is getting ripped out. I installed this high tensile fence, and then, you know, life got in the way. So now it's overcome with bindweed. All that'll die off in the winter, and I'll be able to get out here and bushwhack this thing clear and tear out this old fence. I got most of it out. There's just this little like 100 feet left that I just didn't get to. So once that's done, I'll be able to extend that ending, which is tied into the old fence, out to a post on the new fence. Add, you know, another 4 feet. So I'm going to leave all my wires intact so I'm not cutting and wasting wire. And then we'll get this cleared, and then I'll be able to keep up with it next year. That's all going to be grass, and the cows will come in. So let's get the other two wires run, top and bottom. I'll be able to electrify those because this guy likes to challenge non-electrified fences. And then we'll have the donkey trapped. I'm gonna throw some barrels in here to block him from getting into that. I don't think he would. He doesn't like tight spaces, but right now he would be able to get in there and get himself kind of stuck. So let's block that off too. So since I'm going to electrify this wire, it can't be grounded out on the post. So you use these connectors, and that will allow you to have it secure to the post. Just quick and cheap there with a piece of wire and a staple. And then the hot wire will run in that little gap there and not ground out. So do that for the top and the bottom. And then that'll be one continuous strand. And then again, the middle will not be electrified. So like I said, I'm going to use one continuous strand of poly wire. So I just ran it through there. These clamps are great for poly wire. They're quick. Just two little nuts there. It drives this plate down on the wire. So we're going to run it around through each of these poly tape connectors to hold the wire just fine. Once we get down to the end there, we're going to drop down to the lower rung without grounding out. Figure that out down there. Come all the way back. And then end right there. Alright, so we're all done. It ain't pretty, but it'll work. It won't ground out. I'm using a stick there to hold the spool because I don't want to cut my wire. I'm just going to leave that in the bag. That's not electrified, the poly tape. So, as you can see, I have a clamp twice to keep tension on it. It's not pretty. It'll hold the donkey, and it will work for 1 month. Until I make something more permanent after I process the cows. So now he has the start of a dry lot. He'll be happier, he'll be less fat, and I'll be able to move cows through here without him getting angry. Or at least if he's angry, he'll be angry in here. So that's it. Quick and painless.